Number 10. PnB Rock. The rapper and singer was tragically murdered on the 12th of September after he was shot while dining at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles in LA with his girlfriend. LAPD Captain Kelly Muniz told The Times later that day that the intruder shot the victim and ran out the side door to a getaway car and then fled the parking lot. The attacker first demanded jewelry and other valuables before getting into a struggle with the rapper and opening fire. Rock, whose real name was Rakeem Allen, was rushed to the hospital where he died just before 2 p.m. While the attack might have been planned, many people believe it occurred as a result of the rapper being tagged online, as his exact location was shared on the internet via Instagram by his girlfriend just minutes before he was attacked. Born on the 9th of December in 1991, Rock was inspired to make music at age 19 after hearing Drake's iconic album Take Care. His ability to blend melodies with his rapping made his future in hip-hop extremely promising, and it wasn't long before he captured the world's attention with his musical talent. His murder was a senseless tragedy and is still under investigation right now. Loving this video so far? Please hit that like button, it would really help us out. Number 9. Ray Liotta. Deadline reported on May the 26th that the Goodfellas star had passed away in his sleep at the age of 67, leaving behind his daughter Carson and his fiancée JC. Ray's last post on Instagram has since been flooded with rest in peace messages from fans. The New Jersey native was born in 1954 and adopted at the age of 6 months old out of an orphanage. Interestingly enough, he always assumed that he was Italian, but when he found his birth parents later in life, he discovered that he's actually Scottish. But he did do an impeccable job at playing a lot of Italian-American characters throughout his career, with his breakout role being in the 1990 Martin Scorsese crime classic Goodfellas. Ray's acting career also had a big resurgence in recent years, with films like The Many Saints of Newark, Marriage Story, and No Sudden Move. He won a Primetime Emmy in 2005 for his guest stint on ER, and was a 2-time SAG Award nominee for the 2015 miniseries Texas Rising, so he leaves behind an incredible legacy. Number 8. Queen Elizabeth II. She was the reigning monarch of the United Kingdom and 15 other Commonwealth realms. She died on September the 8th at the age of 96. Her coronation took place on June the 2nd, 1953 at Westminster Abbey, and for the first time ever was televised, allowing people around the world to witness the event. The Queen's 70-year reign was mostly peaceful, despite vast changes across her country over the decades. Queen Elizabeth surpassed her great-great-grandmother Queen Victoria to become the longest-living British monarch on December the 21st of 2007, and has been portrayed many times in pop culture. Buckingham Palace released a statement confirming her passing, saying the Queen died peacefully at Balmoral this afternoon. The news was shocking to the world, as Elizabeth has been around for almost everybody's lifetime and was revered around the world, even outlasting 12 US presidents. She was a tremendously popular and influential figure in her lifetime and stood for stability and order of the crown. Her son, formerly known as Prince Charles, has now stepped up and taken the throne as Britain's new reigning monarch.
At number 7, we have Leslie Jordan. At the age of 67, Leslie Jordan passed away on October 24th. Leslie would pass away after he had a suspected medical emergency after driving to a film scene for Fox's Call Me Kat. Leslie was a beloved actor and comedian who brought joy to many of us all over the world, and I absolutely refuse to live in a world without him. In addition to winning an Emmy for his iconic role as Beverly Leslie on the NBC sitcom Will and Grace from 2001 to 2020, Leslie also appeared in the Best Picture nominated 2011 drama The Help and on 3 separate seasons of FX's long-running series American Horror Story. The world has definitely become a much darker place that's filled without love and light of Leslie. Not only was he such a talented person, but he also brought joy to all of his co-stars and fans across the nation. Leslie's agent even said that what he lacked in height, he even made up for in generosity and greatness as a son, brother, artist, comedian, partner, and a human being. At number 6, we have Freddie Roman. At the age of 85, Freddie Roman would pass away on November 26th. Best known for his stand-up comedian roles, many don't know that Freddie got his start for his role in the Crystal Spring Hotel in Catskills, owned by his uncle and grandfather. After a run as a teenage comedian, Freddie went into shoe business. However, he would shortly realize that it was never for him and that his dream was to be a comedian because it was the only thing that ever made him feel happy. Freddie's Freddie's love for comedy helped him find his sense of purpose. Once Freddie realized he wanted to be a comedian, he even started to headline a number of venues for Caesar's Palace in Harrah's. Freddie would also become the dean of Friars Club Rose. In addition to his stand-up career, he also made several appearances in film and television, including his roles in Law and Order, Criminal Intent, and Red Oaks. At number 5, we have Irene Cara. On November 26, at the age of 63, Irene Cara would pass away. The Oscar-winning singer was best known for performing theme songs to the legendary 1980s film Fame and Flashdance. Irene was born and raised in New York and started to perform as a child before becoming an overnight sensation in the 1980s High School Musical, Fame. By 1981, Irene would even go on to receive 2 Grammy nominations for Best New Artist and Best Pop Vocal Performance for singing its titled track. In 1981, Irene would even lend her voice to another soundtrack for the film Flashdance. What a feeling. The song was even certified gold by the Recording Industry Association of America and won Best Original Song and Best Female Pop Performance at the 56 Academy Awards in 1984. Irene was extremely talented, and in addition to winning 2 awards at the Academy Awards, she also would take home a Grammy for Best Pop Vocal Performance that same year. Irene would then go on to continue to perform both on screen and off and on stage. And in 2011, she released her final album, Irene Cara Presents Hot Caramel, and it was definitely as hot as caramel. At number 4, we have Mickey Khun. Mickey Khun was the last surviving credited cast member of Gone with the Wind. Sadly, the actor passed away on November 20th at the age of 90. Mickey's acting career was at its height when he appeared in the film A Streetcar Named Desire and Red River. By 1951, Mickey would leave the entertainment industry, but not before giving us one final credit after he made multiple appearances in episodes of Alfred Hitchcock's Presents. When Mickey finally put his acting behind him, he decided to enlist in the United States Navy and spent 4 years as an aircraft electrician. Following his departure from Hollywood, he also spent time working for American Airlines at the Boston airport. Later in his life, Mickey would even frequently visit festivals, conventions, to congregate and greet fans of Gone with the Wind. It's no lie that Mickey had an impressive career. He will definitely never be forgotten.
Number 3, Anne Heche. The actress rose to prominence on the soap opera Another World, and she passed away at 53 after being involved in a fiery single-car crash in LA on August the 5th. According to a coroner's report, Anne died from smoke inhalation and burns. She was in a coma for a week before being taken off life support on August the 14th. News of her car accident and subsequent death really shook Hollywood to its core, as Anne was much beloved in the industry. Her peers came forward recalling her contributions to not only cinema, but to the LGBTQ+ community. Director Nathan Scoggins, who worked with her in one of her last films, said Anne held nothing back in life or in performance. She was fearless, going too far in some takes just to make sure she went far enough. But you can't love without trust, and she loved with her whole heart. Anne had famously dated Ellen DeGeneres, who expressed her sadness at her ex-girlfriend's passing and tweeted, "This is a sad day. I'm sending Anne's children, family, and friends all of my love." Number 2, Tony Sirico. The New York native, best known for playing Tony Soprano's associate Paulie Walnuts on The Sopranos, died on the 8th of July at the age of 79. His former co-star Michael Imperioli wrote a loving message about his friend on Instagram, saying, "He was as tough, as loyal, and as big-hearted as anyone I've ever known. I was at his side through so much, through good times and bad, but mostly good, and we had a lot of laughs. I will miss him forever. He is truly irreplaceable." Tony had an incredible career, but he really rose to fame for his portrayal of Paulie on the hit series The Sopranos. His character was a loyal henchman for mob boss Tony Soprano, played by James Gandolfini, and even though the show was known for its unflinching depiction of violence, Paulie quickly became a fan favorite for adding moments of humor throughout the grim drama. His talents will certainly be missed.
Starting off this countdown, we have Natalie Wood and Carol Wayne. Both Natalie and Carol were American actresses who died in similar drowning deaths. On November 29th, 1981, 43-year-old actress Natalie Wood was found dead floating face down in the Pacific Ocean wearing her nightgown and socks. A couple days prior, Natalie, her husband Robert Wagner, Christopher Walken, and yacht captain Dennis Davern headed out on a yacht. The thing is, no one really knows what happened to her. Some say she slipped off the deck and fell into the water, while others are convinced that Wagner or Walken had something to do with it, or that they do know what happened. In January of 1985, Carol Wayne was also vacationing with her friends and her boyfriend. She got in a fight with her boyfriend and decided to head head down to the beach. 3 days later, her body was found floating in the water. Her death was ruled accidental. She was 42 at the time. So both actresses died by drowning, both got in a fight with their partners before they were found dead, and both were similar in age. Moving on at number 9, we have the doses. A number of famous individuals have died alone in their bathrooms from doses. We got Lenny Bruce, Robert Pastorelli, and Philip Seymour Hoffman. All three men were in their 40s when this happened. Bruce passed in 1966 at the age of 40. Robert passed in 2004 at the age of 49, and Philip passed away in 2014 at the age of 46. In our 8th spot, we have the Conductors. It's believed that the Tristan und Isolde opera by Richard Wagner is cursed. First off, when Wagner created it, everyone hated it, and his wife left him, and one of the leads got ill during rehearsals, and another died after starring in it. Then you have the Conductors. Well-known celebrity conductor Felix Model was conducting the show's 100th performance in 1911 when he collapsed of a heart attack. 11 days later, he died. 57 years later, Joseph Kielberth, who had worked for TV shows and has produced work for some of the best opera houses in Europe, also died at the exact same opera house, in the same spot, in the exact same way. He too suffered a heart attack and died. How eerie is that?
Number 7. Ivana Trump. The Czech-American ex-wife of former President Donald Trump died on July 14th at the age of 73. Paramedics were called to the Upper East Side home over a report of cardiac arrest, but her official cause of death has not yet been confirmed. Ivana married the former US president in 1977, and they went on to have 3 children together, their daughter Ivanka and sons Eric and Don Jr. Although the couple divorced in 1992, Ivana kept her ex-husband's surname. Trump took to social media to pay tribute to her passing and wrote, "I am very saddened to inform all those that loved her, of which there are many, that Ivana Trump has passed away at her home in New York City. She was a wonderful, beautiful, and amazing woman who led a great and inspirational life." Eric Trump wrote on Instagram that his mother was a force in business, a world-class athlete, a radiant beauty, and a caring mother and friend. Number 6. Teddy Ray. The actor and comedian who was featured on MTV's Messiest and HBO's Pause with Sam J passed away on August 12th at the age of 32. The rising comedic star appeared in a number of TV shows, shorts, and stand-up specials, including Comedians and Cocktails, How to Be Broke, BSU, Black Student Union, and All Deaf Comedy, among many others. He most recently served as co-host of the Ridiculousness spin-off Messiness alongside Snooki, Tori Spelling, and Adam Rippon. All Deaf original, who Ray frequently collaborated with, wrote via Instagram, "All Deaf family, we're heartbroken and still cannot believe that our brother Teddy Ray has passed away. Teddy was the kindest person you would ever meet. He was always smiling, he had a natural ability to make anyone laugh in any situation, and his laugh was infectious. To know Teddy was to love him. Teddy is a great one and a legend at All Deaf. We will miss him every day, but we know that heaven will be laughing." Number 5. Olivia Newton-John. The Grease star died on August the 8th after a 30-year battle with breast cancer. The English-Australian singer's death at 73 years old was confirmed by her husband, John Easterling. Olivia Newton-John was best known for her portrayal of Sandy in the iconic 1978 musical Grease alongside John Travolta. Her breathy voice and wholesome beauty made her one of the biggest pop stars of the 70s. She was an incredibly talented singer first and foremost, and sold more than 100 million records over the course of her career, with hits like I Honestly Love You, Hopelessly Devoted to You, and Physical. But behind the curtain of her star-studded life, her health started to deteriorate rapidly. In 2018, Olivia revealed that she was treating cancer at the base of her spine. It was her 3rd cancer diagnosis following bouts of breast cancer in the early 90s, and in 2017. She eventually became a fierce advocate in the fight against the disease and founded the Olivia Newton-John Cancer and Wellness Center in Melbourne. Number 4. Denise Dowse. The Beverly Hills 90210 star died at the age of 64 after being hospitalized for meningitis, which left her in a coma. Denise was well known for her portrayal of Miss Yvonne Teasley on the iconic teen drama 90210, and for playing Dr. Rhonda Pine on HBO's Insecure, among a number of other roles in TV and films. The late actress's sister, Tracy Dowse, wrote via Instagram on August 13th, "I want to take this moment to thank our friends and family for all the love and the prayers. It is with a very heavy heart that I inform everyone that my sister, Denise Dowse, has gone forward to meet our family in eternal life." Denise Yvonne Dowse was the most amazing sister, a consummate, illustrious actress, mentor, and director. She was my very best friend and my final family family member. Denise loved all of you, and I know that she's watching over us with all the love that she has. I ask for privacy and your continued prayers.
In our third spot today, we have Edward Kennedy and John McCain. These two were both former US senators and political figures, and they both died of the same cancer on the same day. Like what? Both men were diagnosed with the same form of a rare brain cancer. They both lived just over a year after being diagnosed. Both sadly died on the same day, which was August 25th, just 9 years apart. Like I said, it was a pretty rare form of brain cancer, so what are the odds that two US senators developed it out of all people? Coming in at number 2, we have Chester Bennington and Chris Cornell. Chester Bennington was an American singer, songwriter, best known as the lead vocalist of Linkin Park. One of his best friends was Chris Cornell, another American singer-songwriter known for Soundgarden and Audioslave. Well, on May 18th, 2017, Chris himself and took his own life. Chester was very hurt by this. He wrote a letter to him stating how much he missed and loved him and how inspired he was by him. 2 months later, on July 20th, 2017, which was Chris's birthday, Chester also took his life by hanging. And in our number 1 spot today, we have the Lee family curse. Now, we've talked a lot about curses in today's video, and we're ending it off with another one. And that's the Lee family curse. So we're talking about Bruce Lee and his son, Brandon Lee. Bruce Lee passed away due to a brain aneurysm on July 20th, 1973. He managed to complete some filming for his movie Game of Death, but it wasn't finished. So 5 years later, they managed to complete the film using what little footage was available, and then they just kind of threw in some kind of random clips to fill in the gaps. They even used footage of Bruce Lee's actual funeral. In one scene, you got Bruce on set, and one of the actors he's on set with is an assassin, so he him with a real bullet instead of a blank.
Starting off this countdown, we have Kurt Cobain. Kurt Cobain was a singer-songwriter for Nirvana. Sadly, he had an ongoing struggle with addiction and depression. As a result, he tried to take his life a number of times. He finally managed to do so in 1994. After skipping out of a Los Angeles rehab facility where he was trying to get over his addiction, he flew home to Seattle and shot himself in the head. He died on April 5th of 1994. His last words were found in his final note. In the note, he quoted Neil Young's lyrics and said, "It's better to burn out than fade away." Moving on at number 9, we have Jim Morrison. Jim Morrison was the vocalist of the legendary rock band The Doors. In fact, he is said to be one of the most iconic people in rock and roll history. In July of 1971, Jim was in Paris with Pamela Corson, his partner at the time. On July 3rd, 1971, Pamela found him dead in the bathtub. The cause of death was said to be heart failure, but an autopsy was never performed on him. That's because they were in French territory and the French police found no evidence of foul play, so no autopsy was done. So it means his cause of death could have been something else entirely. In fact, Pamela thinks he died from a heroin overdose since he inhaled it thinking it was coke. Whereas Marianne Faithfull thinks her boyfriend killed him, making it murder. That's why there's so many conspiracies surrounding his death, and honestly, we might never know his real cause of death. In our 8th spot today, we have Janis Joplin. Janis Joplin is said to be one of rock's biggest pioneers. She had some pretty iconic songs like Cry Baby and Piece of My Heart, and she was another artist with such a unique voice. Sadly, on October 4th, 1970, Janis was found dead of a suspected heroin overdose in her Hollywood hotel room. She was found after failing to show for a scheduled recording session. Now, there were efforts made to get her into rehab, but sadly, there wasn't much success there. When she was found, she apparently was clutching her cigarettes in one hand and her money in the other.
Moving on to number 7, we have David Bowie, Alan Rickman, and Dale Griffin. Now, what do these 3 great men have in common? Well, they all died within a week of each other. Bowie passed away on January 10th of 2016 from cancer. 4 days later, Alan Rickman passed away from cancer as well. And I don't know about you, but he was a huge part of my childhood, so his passing really hit me hard. 3 days after Alan's passing, drummer Dale Griffin passed away. That was a hard week, not gonna lie. But it also got people thinking about this supposed curse, and that's that celebrity deaths happen in threes. In this case, they all were male British artist. Not only that, but apparently The Simpsons predicted this. In 2013, The Simpsons published an episode where Bart and Homer are watching a British rom-com. In the show, the characters embrace while wrapped in a Union Jack flag. And while doing so, the song All the Young Dudes plays, which was sung by Dale's band. And guess what? This song was written and produced by David Bowie. Then later, Alan Rickman shows up as Severus Snape in the episode. Like, are you kidding me? What are the odds here? In our 6th spot today, we have the Superman curse. Now, I just finished talking about the celebrity trio death curse. Now, let's talk about another famous curse, and that's the Superman curse. So far, multiple actors who have played Superman have ended up dying. Even the actor Lee Quigley, who portrayed Superman as a baby, passed away. The other most recognizable Supermans are George Reeves and Christopher Reeve. On the 16th of June 1969, the LAPD reported that George had been shot in the head at some point between 1 and 2 in the morning. The circumstances around his death are very mysterious. Some say it was self-inflicted. Others say that he was murdered. Some say he was killed over an affair that he was having. Others say he had ties to the mafia. I don't know. Anyways, then we have Christopher Reeve. On October 10th, 2004, he passed away due to heart failure. And like I said, Lee Quigley also passed. There also was Bud Collier. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Sorry if I didn't, don't come for me. He provided his voice for radio and cartoon shows for years before passing at the age of 61. And 4 creators of the comics also died while working on them. Pretty wild, isn't it? We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with the Playboy Playmates curse. A number of Playboy Playmates have died at young ages under pretty unnatural circumstances. For example, we got Paige Young at 30, she died of a dose. Several years later, Willie Ray died the same way. Same with Anna Nicole Smith. In 1967, Jane Mansfield died in a car crash. Carol Willis and Claudia Jennings also died in car accidents, and they were all under 30. Then we have the murders. In 1980, Dorothy Stratton was murdered by her husband, and in 1970, Ellen Louise was murdered in Florida. So, we all need to take some notes here. Don't become a Playmate, don't become a Superman, and don't be an opera conductor. Coming in at number 4, we have Michael Kennedy and Sonny Bono. On December 31st, 1997, Michael Kennedy, son of Robert F. Kennedy, passed away during a skiing trip. He was skiing down a slope when he crashed into a tree. Almost a week later, the exact same thing happened to Sonny Bono. Michael was skiing in Aspen with his family. Sonny was skiing in California with his family. They both smashed into a tree in the afternoon, suffered from head injuries, and then died. In fact, that happened 6 days apart. Pretty creepy.
In our 3rd spot today, we have Aaron Hernandez. Aaron Hernandez was an American football player in the NFL for 3 seasons. However, in 2013, he was arrested for the death of his friend, Odin Lloyd. In the end, he was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison without parole. On April 19, 2017, while in jail, Hernandez took his own life. But before doing so, he apparently cut his finger and wrote John 3:16 on the wall with his own blood. He also wrote it on his forehead as well. Now, John 3:16 said that God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him shall never die but have eternal life. Not only that, but another report said that he drew an unfinished pyramid with the all-seeing eye on the wall as well. So, it's a little creepy. I don't know why he did that. It's open to interpretation. Maybe he was a part of the Illuminati. In our 2nd spot, we have Amy Winehouse. Born in 1983, Amy Winehouse was another very talented musician. Her voice was incredible. It was so unique and raw. But Amy sadly suffered from drug and alcohol addiction. On July 23, 2011, Amy passed away from accidental alcohol poisoning, which took many by surprise because they thought that she had kicked the habit and she was turning her life around. Her body was found by her bodyguard. The bodyguard found her laying in the same position as she was a couple hours prior, so when he checked on her, that's when he knew that she had gone. And in our number 1 spot today, we have Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix will be remembered as one of the greatest guitarists of all time. Sadly, he also struggled with alcohol and abuse. On September 18, 1970, Jimi mixed alcohol with several other types of narcotics, which he had done before and he had lived. But this day, he mixed alcohol with sleeping pills, and he took way too many. Apparently, he took 9. As a result, he passed out, but not before vomiting. He ended up choking on his own vomit and sadly died. At number 10, we have Robbie Coltrane. When Robbie Coltrane passed away on October 14th, even Harry Potter fans across the world were shocked to learn that their favorite Harry Potter character was gone. Shortly after Robbie's passing made headlines, former co-stars would even come out to mourn the loss of the late actor. Daniel Radcliffe, best known for his roles in Harry Potter as Harry, would come out to say that Ronnie was one of the funniest people and he used to keep them all laughing constantly as kids on the set. Ahead of his passing, Robbie even gushed about his involvement in the Harry Potter franchise in honor of its 20th anniversary. Robbie went on to say that, "I think it's just an end of an era. It's 10 years of my life. My children have grown up during this. The legacy of the movies is that my children's generation will show them to their children. So you can be watching them in 50 years time, easily. I'll not be here, but Hagrid will, yes." Robbie's character will forever live on through Harry Potter and he will never be forgotten. At number 9, we have Jason David Frank. Jason David Frank was an actor best known for his role of one of the original Power Rangers. When Jason passed away on November 19th, fans would mourn the loss by rewatching the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series to see their favorite star. Jason was a fan favorite and he was even brought back as the reformed and new leader of the team as the White Ranger. Jason's performance was so strong he even got to reprise his role in several adaptations of the Power Rangers. After his passing, his co-star Emmanuel Jones would even write on his Instagram that he couldn't believe it was true. Jason's character wasn't intended to be permanent as he was introduced as the first enemy of the Power Rangers and then would go on to do a full 180 to become good after his powers started to deteriorate. His on-screen abilities translated into the real world and he will be survived by his 4 children. Hey Peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. At number 8, we have Angela Lansbury. Angela Lansbury was an iconic stage, voice, and screen actress that passed away on October 11th at the age of 96. Angela's roles were so iconic that she even won an Oscar for her first major role in the film Gaslight and was even nominated for the same award a year later for her role in the picture Dorian Gray. Angela was best known for her role in the CBS series Murder, She Wrote, as well as voicing Miss Potts in the Disney 1991 animated film Beauty and the Beast. Her role in Beauty and the Beast was so iconic, who can forget when she sang the Oscar-nominated song Be Our Guest. Angela made us all feel welcomed with her roles, and it was definitely sad to hear about her passing.
In our 7th spot, we have Robert Johnson. Now, there's a wild legend surrounding legendary blues singer Robert Johnson. It's said that he sold his soul to the devil at a local crossroads to become successful. I guess the only catch was he was going to die early on in life. On August 16th, 1938, he mysteriously passed away. Now I say mysteriously because there's no official cause of death. His death was not reported publicly, and then 30 years later, a man named Gail Dean Wardlow, who was a musicologist, decided to look into his death. That's when he found his death certificate, but it only had a date and location, no official cause of death. Now, some say he died after drinking whiskey laced with strychnine, which is a very, very strong poison and only a small amount is needed to kill or wound someone. Others say he died from pneumonia. In our 6th spot today, we have Brian Jones. Born in 1942, Brian Jones is the original founder and leader of the Rolling Stones. He was the one that apparently formed the band and named it, and even chose the members of the band and what music they played. So he had a huge impact on this band. Bassist Bill Wyman said, and I quote, "He got us gigs, he was very influential, very important, and then slowly lost it, and just kind of wasted it and blew it all away." Eventually, Jones started to turn to alcohol and drugs, which led him to have nasty mood swings and developing depression. On July 3rd of 1969, he was found at the bottom of his swimming pool. Apparently, his cause of death was by misadventure, so maybe he was very drunk or very high and stumbled into his pool and wasn't able to get back out. Others, on the other hand, believe that he was murdered. We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with Anton Yelchin. Anton Yelchin was an American actor. You might recognize him from the Star Trek movie series or from the movie Green Room. Either way, he was a great actor gone far too soon. And the way he left this world was quite dramatic. So on June 19th, 2016, he got out of his Jeep while in his driveway of his house when the car rolled backwards, hitting him against a brick pillar and his fence. By the time his friend found him, he had already passed away. He died from blunt traumatic asphyxiation. dyslexia. In our 4th spot today, we have Thuy Trang. Thuy Trang was a Vietnamese American actress known for her role as the Yellow Power Ranger in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. After that, she went on to star in The Crow, City of Angels, and Spy Hard. It would have been nice to see what else her career had for her. Sadly, on September 3rd, 2001, while on her way to her friend's wedding, in which she was a bridesmaid, the driver lost control of the car. It swerved off the road and crashed into a rock face. She died shortly after the crash.
At number 3, we have James Winburn. James Winburn was a stunt double for Michael Myers' character in the original 1978 film Halloween, which is iconically the best film in the movie franchise. However, in November 19th, James sadly passed away due to undisclosed illness. While Nick Castle famously donned the slasher mask in the first film, James was the legendary stuntman that assisted in some of the most intense scenes, which included him falling off a balcony. James worked as a stuntman for over 70 films, which included Escape from New York, Night Stalker, and Glory. He also starred in shows and movies such as Charlie Chan in The Curse of the Dragon Queen, Hunter, and Island of Witches. On top of his stuntman and acting career, he also directed 3 features: Evil Altar, The Merchant, and Miami Beach Cops. However, if it wasn't for his part in Halloween, the film wouldn't be what it is today, and we definitely have to thank him for all the hard work and heart he put into any work he was given. And number 2, we have Kevin Conroy. Kevin Conroy was one of the most beloved actors to ever bring Batman to life. However, on November 10th, the beloved actor would pass away and the world would begin to mourn his passing. After a long battle with cancer, Kevin would pass away at the age of 66. Kevin studied under John Houseman at Juilliard and would later become the voice actor that was instrumental to helping repopularize Batman for younger audiences. Kevin played the Caped Crusader in Batman the Animated Series, which ran on Fox Kids from 1992 to 1996. Following his turn on the show, Kevin also was the voice in Batman movies and in 15 separate TV series and 24 video game projects. Kevin also appeared on camera as the live-action Bruce Wayne and even got a chance to portray the character on the 2019 crossover event Crisis on Infinite Earths. At number 1, we have Aaron Carter. Musician and former child star Aaron Carter passed away on November 5th at the age of 34. The singer and rapper rose to fame after he opened up for his older brothers Nick Carter's band, the Backstreet Boys, while they were on tour. Later, Aaron would go on to release his debut album. However, less than a year later, his popularity would surge after his second album release, Aaron's Party, Come and Get It, which included such hits as I Want Candy and Bounce. In 2001, Aaron would then make an acting debut when he performed I Want Candy on Disney Channel series Lizzie McGuire. He even went on that same year to star in some Broadway musicals. Aaron would then go on to have an extended break from music until 2017, when he then released his final album, Love. During his career, he also appeared on Sabrina the Teenage Witch, all that, and his family's reality TV show, House of Carters. He would also get a chance to appear on Dancing with the Stars in 2009, where he ended up placing 5th. Aaron will now be survived by his son Prince, and will live on in our memories as our favorite teenage heartthrob.